All right. Today we're reviewing Cocaine Bear. I don't do number ratings or percentages because I find them to just be an overall pointless and ineffective way of relegating media, so I'm just going to talk about the movie for a bit and then tell you what I thought of the movie overall. And first thing I want to come in here is the title, so let's just get that out of the way. I really like that the movie is simply just called Cocaine Bear. It just lets you know exactly what you're getting into right from the get-go. It's basically just like, yep, this is what the movie's called and that's what it is. No bullshit, no cryptic title, just the entire plot of the film summarized in just the title. So that's a pro in my book. Well, at least when it comes to a certain type of movie. Like, if you're watching a murder mystery, you don't want it to be called Jerry covertly kills all his friends one by one while they all try to figure out who's doing it and he blends into the group. That would be pretty counterproductive to what the movie's trying to do. But with this movie, I think they made the right call by calling it Cocaine Bear. Yes. Just listen to me ramble like this, and I'm still just talking about the title. Yep, this is definitely going to be an enjoyable video. Okay, another thing I liked was the intro to the movie. As soon as you start it, you're hospitably greeted by the scene of some coked out, very energetic and jovial seeming guy throwing a bunch of cocaine out of an airplane. And he's just breaking it down. He's getting real boombastic and sassy on the dance floor while he's doing this. And his mannerisms and the fact that he's surrounded by cocaine kind of gives you this Charlie Sheen type vibe, and it's pretty epic. Not to imply that Charlie Sheen is an epic guy whatsoever. He's a horrible dude, but his aura is pretty undeniable. I mean, look, all right, Hitler had a strong aura about him too. That doesn't mean he's a good guy, you see, but enough of this frivolity. Let's get back to the actual topic. So, Cocaine Bear. Another thing I noticed near the beginning was that for some reason it foreshadowed something that was obviously going to happen. So two people are walking in the woods, right? And they're just walking while having a casual dialogue, like this was before everything went awry per se. But as they were walking, they stepped over a bear's footprint, and the characters don't notice it themselves, but the camera pans down to it and kind of zooms in on it and plays like this suspenseful music. So they basically attempt to foreshadow like the whole plot of the entire movie. And not only that, the very appeal of the movie. Like they foreshadow the whole reason why someone would put the movie on and try to paint it out so that the viewer is like, oh my gosh, there's a bear in these woods that they're in? I don't know, it's pretty silly. Maybe I'm just reading way deeper into it than you're supposed to, but I just think it's kind of silly nonetheless. And going in, I was kind of put off because just about a week prior to watching Cocaine Bear, I went and saw Strays, which is by the same people, or at least the same main people as Cocaine Bear, like the directors and writers and shit. But that movie was just atrocious. There was no substance. It was just constantly raunchy just for the sake of being raunchy. All the humor, quote unquote, I use that word lightly because it just falls flat on its face all the time. Like, that movie was horrible. It really didn't have anything to offer. It just heavily relies on shock humor, and it gets old exceptionally quick. But thankfully, that wasn't the case with this movie. There was actually some really clever and well-crafted jokes thrown in there that had me giggling. It wasn't just completely reliant and raunchy shock humor, which came as a surprise to me because after watching Strays, I really thought it was going to be. But no, there were some real clever, well put together gutbusters. But enough comparisons, enough talking about Strays. That's not what we're here to talk about. Because I have a complaint, baby. That's right, you heard me. My complaint is there wasn't enough bear. That's right. They're missing the bear necessities. That is the bear himself. There's way too much exposition in this movie, too much plot, too much character building for characters I do not give a fuck about. Like, I don't care about any part of this movie's narrative that doesn't involve the cocaine bear. Like, the movie spends way too much time without action, way too much dialogue, not enough brutal nature. Like, I do not care about any of these characters or what is going on in their lives. I just want to see the end of their lives. I want to see them get mauled, tore, chewed, scratched, sliced, and consumed by that bear. I don't care what Jenny had for breakfast this morning, unless if I get to see that meal get violently ripped out of her stomach. So, not to get into too much spoilers, but there's a scene where a dude gets jumped by a few guys in a public restroom, and he beats the shit out of all of them, like Batman Arkham Asylum style, so that was pretty hype. Yeah, so overall, I thought the movie was pretty good. You know, it serves its purpose. It really accomplishes what it sets out to do. So obviously, any part where the bear was on screen, or the bear was like actively doing shit, it's obviously where the movie really shines. That's like the entire appeal of the movie, but it does a really good job at making the action parts like, when they're running from the bear, or like anytime there's some sort of human to human conflict, they do a really good job at making those moments intense and exciting while also maintaining the comedic feel. Like, even when you're at the edge of your seat mentally cheering for the characters to escape the bear and everything is super tense and exciting, all of that just feels like one big chaotic joke. So yeah, the movie was overall just really enjoyable. Without getting into spoilers, the ending is great. The ending is really good. One thing about it was a bit predictable, but that's all right. There was one thing in the movie I noticed that just made no sense. Okay, so like the bear was asleep on top of a dude. Don't ask me how, but there was a guy laying prone on the ground, and the cocaine bear was asleep on top of him, and someone referred to the bear as a he, and they said something like because they said something like he's gonna wake up eventually. Then the dude underneath the bear is like, it's a her. His boys are all like, well, how do you know? And he says, because its vagina is on my ear. But that makes no sense because, okay, listen. That makes no sense because they were both laying the same direction. Like the bear's head was on top of his head, so how could its vagina be on his ear? That makes no sense, but it's whatever, I guess. Let's just imagine that furry bear coochie was just sliding and grinding all over his ear, I guess. Oh well, but yeah, the movie was good. It accomplished its goal, and that's about it. Bye bye.